Hi, it's Jody. As promised, I'm here to provide an update on the legal situation between myself and Smith College. As you know, for those of you who've been following me, I parted ways with Smith in February. That I consider that a constructive discharge, and with the intention to take legal action, which I have. And so I want to give you an update because it's kind of a long process. The first thing that everyone should know, and some of you know this, some of you don't, is that whenever somebody wants to file a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit in civil court, and it involves Title VII allegations in a workplace environment as opposed to a school, they must file a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission first. That is the EEOC. And the EEOC can choose to investigate the situation, or they might not. And they might have a finding or they might not. But that is the first step before you can file in civil court. And you don't have to leave it at the EEOC. At a certain point, you can file a request to withdraw it and obtain a right to sue letter, which then enables you to go to court. It's basically saying, I went through the EEOC process. I'm not going to wait for the EEOC to investigate this. I'm going to remove it from the EEOC, and now I'm going to file my own case as a civil lawsuit. So that's the very first step. It's also important to know that each state, and you have to do this at a state level, you file it with your state's EEOC office. Now, each state has a different name for their EEOC. In Massachusetts, the name of the state level EEOC is called the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination. That is MCAD for short. So, and it's different in New York. I think maybe it's the Office of Civil Rights in New York. I'm not sure. In Massachusetts, when a complaint is filed with the MCAD, it gets cross-filed with the federal EEOC. And as far as I know, not every state does that, but that's what Massachusetts does. So, on February 25th, I filed a complaint with the MCAD against Smith College. And the particulars are, I, Jody Shaw, the complainant, believe Smith College, the respondents, discriminated against me on the basis of my race/color and in retaliation for opposing discriminatory practices. This is in violation of MGL 151B, Section 4, paragraphs 1, 4, and Title VII. See attached for particulars. Smith College had a deadline to respond. They did not respond within the deadline. I assume they got an extension. They ended up not responding until almost 3 months later. They had 20 days to respond and they could get a 20-day extension, I believe. So that's 40 days they had, and they took actually almost 3 months. So, which means the MCAD allowed them to do that. So and I don't know that that's necessarily unusual. So on May 13th, they filed their position statement. Basically, it's like a rebuttal to whatever I stated in my complaint. I note up here that they actually changed attorneys. They were originally with WilmerHale, and then they switched to Holland and Knight, it looks like, for the MCAD, and I recently heard they're back with WilmerHale. Now, normally at this point, since Smith had responded, I would be able to request a right to sue letter to withdraw and go file in court. However, I had decided that I wanted to name individuals and hold individuals, in addition to Smith, the institution, certain individuals responsible for this behavior. And in order to name those individuals in the civil lawsuit, they really need to be named in the EEOC, or they should be named in the EEOC complaint. So on May 14th, which is the day after Smith responded, I filed a motion to amend to add 5 individuals to my MCAD complaint. So this is my motion to amend. You'll see that after the Smith College, I added some names. They are also named here, those same people, and here. I'm not sure. This is a Massachusetts thing, that individuals can be held liable for Title VII violations, or I don't know, maybe it's for a bunch of things. I just know individuals can be held liable and you can name them in a civil lawsuit. I don't think that's true for every state, but it is in Massachusetts. And I decided that after thinking very hard on it, that I wanted to go that route. There were a number of considerations, including the fact that I don't want people to suffer. I think litigation is, I'm aware of how tough litigation is, and I really had to think long and hard about naming individuals. But I decided to do it, and I filed the motion to amend my MCAD complaint on May 14th. I then, because we were waiting for the MCAD to respond to my motion to amend, we had a deadline to file a rebuttal to Smith's rebuttal. And so in order to meet that deadline, we filed it, and we did that on July 9th. This is my response to Smith's rebuttal. I'm just going to scroll through it quickly. You can read and look at all these documents via a link in the description or the pinned comments below. I just want to point out the conclusion of my rebuttal to their statement. Perhaps Smith genuinely believes that its pervasive racial stereotyping and segregation is a legitimate way to, quote, educate, unquote, its community about its very specific view of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This does not make it so. Smith subjected Ms. Shaw to a racially hostile environment, perpetuated race-based stereotypes, expected Ms. Shaw to treat students as first and foremost defined by the color of their skin, and when she complained about it, retaliated against her. In so doing, they violated her rights under Title VI and Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, etc., etc., etc. On July 12th, the MCAD granted my motion to amend, that is to add those 5 individuals to my complaint. On July 21st, I requested a right to withdraw my complaint, that is to file a private right of action in civil court, otherwise known as a right to sue. The next day, on July 21st, I received the dismissal from MCAD, telling me that the complaint is dismissed after being withdrawn, and that I am hereby required to file a copy of the complaint filed in court after withdrawal, etc., etc., etc. The next step, now that I have my right to sue letter and I've added these individuals to my MCAD complaint, is to proceed with filing a complaint in civil court, a lawsuit, naming Smith College and these 5 individuals. And that is what I intend to do. I believe I am on the side of right here, and I'm going through with it. All of these complaints that I've mentioned, these filings, can be found in the link that I'm going to put below here somewhere, either in the pinned in the comments or in the description, so you can have a look and see for yourself. I want to take the opportunity here to say thank you so much to everybody out there who donated to my GoFundMe or sent me a message of support. I really, really appreciate it. This process, all of it has been turbulent, and your support means a lot to me. And I want you to know my GoFundMe is still up, and now I am actively in the process of forming a nonprofit. I actually incorporated already. I will be announcing that soon. And as promised, some of the money that has been donated to my GoFundMe will go towards this nonprofit, which will go towards supporting individuals who have been marginalized by oppressive ideologies in the way that I was. So that's the news on that front. I'll have that announcement soon, and I will be sure to keep you posted as to when I actually file my lawsuit in court. Let's keep talking.